US Secretary of State Antony Blinken, in his recent virtual travel to Africa, touted what he called the Chinese debt trap. This allegation by the top US diplomat shows that he was not happy at all with or even worried about China's cooperation with African countries. It turned out that Mr. Blinken has inherited what his predecessor had been doing. Never miss out any opportunity to smear China. But he has been wrong again. His allegation holds no ground, and the US rhetoric itself might turn into a development trap for Africa. This is Xinhua Commentary. I'm Sam Duckett in Beijing. During his virtual tour to Africa in late April, Blinken addressed the alumni of the Young African Leaders Initiative. He said, quote, "If someone is coming along and saying, I'm going to invest a lot of money in your country, but it's a loan, so that means you have a debt and you're going to have to pay it back someday, and if that is too great and you can't pay it back, then I'm going to own the asset in question." Well, if he was talking about lending by the United States, he can be right. But if he was hinting at China's loans for African countries and Chinese investment across Africa, that was a different case. Here are several basic facts Blinken missed out. First, China is not the only lender to African countries, and its share in total debt owned by African countries is not big either. Data show that some 30% of Kenya's external debt comes from commercial banks, 30% from bilateral lenders, and the remaining 40% from multilateral financiers. So China's share of Kenya's total indebtedness is not big at all. Second, China's loans to African countries are concessional, and China always loves to restructure its loans. A recent research from a China-Africa workshop held in Johns Hopkins University has documented 16 cases of debt restructuring worth $7.5 billion in 10 African countries between 2000 and 2019, and it has not found a single case of asset seizure by China. Third, loans from China are developmental in nature, building much-needed infrastructure in African countries and bringing tangible fruits to African people. With China's help, over 6,000 kilometers of railways and 6,000 kilometers of roads, nearly 20 ports, and over 80 large power plants have been built in Africa. China's direct investment in Africa in 2019 had grown by 100-fold compared with 20 years ago. As we all know, borrowing money is a common way for nearly every country to develop. African countries are no exception. African people's desire for development is especially strong. If Mr. Blinken is not happy with China's growing presence in Africa, a better way would be to compete with China in providing loans to African countries and making infrastructure investment in African countries, or join hands with China to help African development. Wouldn't that be great? But I really doubt that the US would be interested in doing that.